Welcome back. All right, so 5 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and Eastern Canadian teams did well. Western Canadian teams maybe a little less well. Let's go ahead, and we're gonna jump right in talking about the New York Islanders and the Ottawa Senators. The Islanders are in trouble. The Islanders are definitely in trouble. So it's Varlamov versus Talbot in this one. There's a near miss for Stützle on a net drive. The Islanders press at 2 minutes. Pelech had a net feed that was blocked out. Beauvillier has a chance that's saved. Talbot pretty sharp early in this one. Shots are 4 apiece at 5.5 minutes. Good chances for both teams. Mayfield fires one wide as the Islanders press. Cizikas has a net drive that's blocked by Gregg. Ridley Gregg was all over the ice tonight. Really fantastic debut for the kid. Sens press at the half. There's a power play for New York. A good cycle, but that's killed off. Just the one shot allowed. Sens then get a power play. There's a post for DeBrincat on an open net. No idea how he missed that one. Back-to-back clears by the Islanders. That's killed off. And then Pinto. He's been all around the net. He finally gets his 12th of the season from Giroux and Sanderson at 15:48. They kept pressing after that power play was killed off. They were actually kind of better with the 5-on-5 after. 50.5 seconds left. There's a power play for the Islanders, and they go to commercial. There's one little thing, and I know it's minor. I don't know if I'm the only one that gets driven crazy by it. Commercial breaks in the final minute of a period. Because then you're just coming back for a few... Like, there's been... I think the smallest amount of time that I've seen is like 30 seconds. Where it's like, this is ridiculous. But at any rate, the power play rolls over into the second period. The Sens finish the kill. Gregg has a shot that's held as the Sens press. Then there's a delay game call that gives the Sens a power play, and Giroux gets the power play goal from Gregg and Sanderson at 3:28, although Giroux was just happy for Ridley Gregg to get his first NHL point. He seemed just jubilant, and he being Gregg seemed jubilant that he got that point, and it's a good story. Shots are 6-2 for Ottawa at 4.5 minutes. They would press at 6.5 minutes. Mayfield has a shot deflect out. Talbot comes out. Forsberg goes in. It looked like it was a leg, something with Talbot. There were 2 mysterious goaltender exits in games tonight. This is the first one. The Islanders get a power play. Pajot has a blast that's saved. The Sens clear it out. That's killed off. The Sens clear it again after that. Gregg then had a turnover rush chance. That's saved. DeBrincat to Giroux's picked off. The Sens press with 5 minutes left. But on a rebound, Brock Nelson would get a goal from Palmieri and Aho at 16:07. So suddenly it's 2-1 in favor of Ottawa. Then on the next faceoff, Martin had a fight with Watson, because why not? Sens press with 2.5 minutes left. Nelson then had a shot that was blocked. His next chance is saved. The Islanders press in the final minute. So coming out of 2 periods, this game could go either way, right? It's 2-1, but Ottawa's had their struggles, and the Islanders desperately need points. So third period, Romanov has a shot that's held. Things are kind of pushy. The shots are 5-1 for the Islanders at 4 minutes. So in relief, I thought Forsberg played pretty well. Gregg couldn't bury one in close. Batherson has a rush chance. That's held. Sens get a power play. Shabbat's denied. The rebound ends up in the corner. There's a post for Batherson. The Islanders rush while shorthanded. Power play's killed off. Sens press with 8.5 minutes left. Then there's a near miss for Palmieri. Giroux had a net feed to Gregg. That was picked off. Goalie pull in the final 2 minutes. Barzal has a shot that saved the Islanders press. Palmieri's denied, and then Pajot has a shot that's held, and Ottawa holds on. They win this one 2-1. They go to 21-23-3 with the win. The Islanders 23-22-5, so they are fading out of that playoff picture. Shots in this one, 14-10 Ottawa in the first, 17-12 Ottawa in the second, 14-7 Islanders in the third. Final shots, 38-36 for the Sens. Power plays, the Islanders 0 for 3, Ottawa 1 for 3. Hits 24-17 for the Islanders. Varlamov 36 saves on 38 shots. Talbot saved all 14 shots. Forsberg replaced him and saved 21 out of 22. So both goaltenders played pretty well. All right, moving along. Toronto at home against the Rangers. This was such a fun game. So it's Shesterkin versus Samsonov. I think tonight's game might quiet anybody left who doesn't trust Samsonov as the starter in Toronto. Early jump for the Leafs, good flow. Schneider has a shot that's held, but at 2:27 on a fast break, Holmberg goes backhand and puts it away. Anderson and Kerfoot with the assists. So it's nice to see Joey Anderson playing well, getting called up. I liked his game in New Jersey a few seasons ago. He's been buried in the AHL, though. Leafs press for another, the Rangers. Then they press back at 4 minutes. There's a power play for New York. Aggressive penalty kill by the Leafs. They do kill it off. They allowed 4 shots, but they killed it off. Rangers press at 8 minutes. Leafs draw a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots allowed there. Matthews fires one wide as the Leafs press. The shots are 7-6 for the Rangers with 6.5 minutes left. Miller's denied from the doorstep. Rare time where Keandre Miller's right in front of the net. Matthews has a shot that's blocked, and there's a stretch pass to Hedl. Near miss on that one. So after one period, it's 1-0 for Toronto. Second period, good early back and forth, but on a face-off win, Hedl just fires it. And I love when a guy does this, that instead of trying to pull the puck back, you just fire it at the net. And he gets the goal at 2:11, completely caught Samsonov off guard. You do not expect the shot on the face-off. So nice play by Hedl. Leafs look to answer next shift. Matthews has a chance that's held. Panarin then had a shot that nearly fooled Samsonov. Nylander with a rush chance, that's held. And then Hedl. It's a turnover, it's a pass, it's buried. Hedl with his second goal of the period from Kakko and Lafreniere at 6:31. Suddenly it's 2-1 Rangers. The shots are 9-6 for Toronto at 7 minutes. The Rangers press at 9 minutes. The Leafs get a power play. Tavares is denied on a rebound. Matthews fires one wide. The Leafs cycle. Power play's killed off. 3 shots there. Marner was denied as the Leafs press. Tavares then had a net feed. That's cleared out. 2:59 left. The Leafs get a power play. Tavares and Matthews, neither of them can bury it in close. That's killed off, and the Leafs press to close it. So after 2 periods, it's 2-1 Rangers. Third period, early jump for the Rangers. The Leafs press, but the Rangers blocking shots. Delay a game call, gives the Rangers the power play. Good cycle late, but it's killed off. Rangers press afterwards. The Leafs, they ice it. You always got to watch that, right? Because then you're tired, you've iced the puck. They can get new guys on the ice. They get away with it, though. Then Leafs press at 7.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. They get more pressure going, and the lines are being juggled at this point by Sheldon Keefe. Yarncroke can't bury one in close, but then Liljegren. Good press, lots of shots. Eventually one goes in. That's kind of the way you have to do it with Shesterkin. Just take all the shots. Liljegren gets that goal from Tavares and Nylander at 15:49. Nylander, the latest of that core group of forwards for Toronto to reach a milestone. He reaches 400 points. So a lot of milestones being reached by these guys. Matthews then has a shot that's held as the Leafs are seeking the lead. 1:26 left. The Rangers call a timeout. I mean, they were under siege, so I don't blame them. There's a crossbar for Tavares in the closing seconds, but we're going to overtime. The Leafs control early, and they score. At 19 seconds, it's Marner from Liljegren. He dekes around Igor and buries it. Just filthy goal. And he gets a new point streak started. So 3-2 is your final in overtime. Toronto goes to 30-11-8 with the win. The Rangers 26-14-8 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, 9-8 Rangers in the first, 16-11 Toronto in the second, 10-9 Toronto in the third. They had the only shot of the overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots, 35-29 Toronto. Power plays, the Rangers 0 for 2, Toronto 0 for 3. Hits, 35-14 Rangers. Shesterkin saves 32 out of 35. Samsonov, 27 saves on 29 shots. The stats I talked about earlier today about goaltenders, they're only going to get better for Samsonov, and I'm here for it. I think it's great to see him succeeding, and now I need to change boards. Now, next up, Dallas at home against Carolina. Once a game goes into overtime, I kind of hang my head and go, yeah, Dallas doesn't win in overtime. We're back to where we were a couple years ago. So it's Anderson versus Ottinger in this one. The Canes press at 2.5 minutes. The Stars are pinned down. They're blocking out. Shots are 3-1 Carolina at 4.5 minutes. Hintz had a net feed. That's cleared out. Johnston fires one wide on a rush. The Stars draw a power play. Here we go, and it's a shorthanded goal. Aho buries it on a breakaway. Pesce with the assist at 8:46. So that's not optimal if you're the Stars. You get a power play, and you allow the shorthanded goal. And then the Canes finished the kill and didn't allow a shot. Goal line stand on Stastny by Ottinger, and then it is Johnston at 10:59. It's the second shot of the game for Dallas, completely against the flow of play, and it's a 1-1 draw. Delandry then had a net drive that's defended. The Canes press with 6 minutes left, but Robertson kind of banks one in. He scores from Sagan at 15:17. It's a goal scorer's goal. Robertson has great sense around that. That's his 33rd goal of the year. The Canes press with 2 minutes left, but after the first, it's 2-1 for Dallas, and honestly, as a Stars fan, I felt like they were fortunate to be ahead. Second period, Ronta's in. So Freddie Anderson didn't come out to start the second period. I haven't heard yet why he's out, but, he was playing great too. It's a shame. But anyways, the shots are 2-0 for the Canes at 3 minutes. Delandry can't bury one in close. And then on a face-off win, Burns with a blast. Reminds you he's got a really good shot. He's got 8 goals. I think it's 8 goals this year now. 4:55, he scores that from Martinook and Stahl. Canes draw a power play, that's killed off. Marchment mishandled on a breakout out of the box. The puck was just a little too fast for him. Canes press at 9.5 minutes. Hintz has a rush chance, that's held. Chatfield's denied, the rebound's cleared. Pesce versus Glendenning during a scrum. Glendenning stood his ground. Pesce, I think, gets the decision. Could be Glendenning. Anyways, Canes get a power play. That's killed off. 2:49 left. The Stars get a power play. The Canes do not let them set up. In fact, a shorthanded rush by Kotkaniemi ends it. So, going to the third period, it's tied at 2. Lindell has a sharp angle shot. That's held. Jarviston had a net drive. That was defended. Gurianov with a rush chance. He's blocked out. The emotions are high. Solid defense at this point. The shots are 5-0 Stars at 8 minutes. Ronta gets shaken up, and he took a high stick to the back of the neck. There was no call, which is weird because the referees were right there. I don't normally talk about calls that are missed, but to me that was kind of obvious that I guess they weren't looking. But yeah, it was a high stick that caught him on the back of the neck, and he was okay because I was thinking, if the E-Bug has to go in, it's in Dallas, so I don't know who the E-Bug would have been in that situation. At any rate, Shea is robbed as the Canes press. There's a crossbar for Johnston on a spin shot. Wouldn't it be something if Ben Bishop was the emergency backup? Ref is told that he sucks, and things get pushy in the Stars' end. I'm not sure if Dallas fans were telling him he sucked because their player got away with a high stick on Ronta. Probably not. Johnston then has a wraparound that's saved in the final minute. We're going to overtime. A lot of overtime in games over the last few days. Stars control early, but they turn it over, and then they turn it over again. Svechnikov has a net drive that's saved, and at 1:34, it's Natchez. He goes beast mode and buries it. It's the second overtime winner he's had against Dallas this season. So, he's the one guy. He got her done. Your final score is 3-2 for the Hurricanes. I kept wanting to say something else. 39-8 is their record on the season, so not too shabby. For Dallas, 28-13-9. So the overtimes, they're starting to rack up those points. Just they're not getting the 2 points, they're getting the single. Shots in this one, 7-6 Carolina in the first, 10-6 Carolina in the second, 9-6 Dallas in the third. Carolina got the only shot of the overtime. If Dallas could have stopped turning it over, that would have been great. But hey, final shots are 24-21 Carolina. Both teams go 0 for 2 on the power play. Hits 31-18 for Dallas. I know Dallas fans were mad about a trip behind the Carolina net. The referee looked at it and said, "You're not getting that call," and he saw it and said it wasn't a penalty. Anderson saves 4 out of 6, and then Ronta, in relief, saves all 15 shots and gets the win. Ottinger, 21 saves on 24 shots. So, overall, Dallas gets the point, but they're going to wish they had gotten 2. All right, next up, Columbus goes into Edmonton. Now, Columbus is coming into Vancouver on Friday. Honestly, they're playing well on this road trip. They played well in Calgary. They get the point, and tonight, they kind of held Edmonton off the board. I think if you have a team you cheer for that's going up against Edmonton soon, watch the tape of what Columbus did. They did pretty well. So Korpisalo versus Skinner in this one. The early chances for Columbus, no shots. Of course, Edmonton came into this with 6 wins in a row. They haven't had 7 wins in a row in 2 decades, so they were really trying to get that. McDavid has a net drive, that's defended. There was a near miss for Ryan as the Oilers press. The shots are 2 apiece at 6.5 minutes. Fogel's denied in close as they're pressing. Holloway's robbed. There's more pressure for the Oilers. And then at 12:25, Boone Jenner opens the scoring. Laine and Boquist with the assists. And then the Jackets looked for another. What was interesting is the Oilers were controlling this game, and then Columbus scored, and it just seemed to take the heart out of the Oilers for a lot of the rest of that first period. Columbus presses with 2 minutes left. They spent a lot of time in the Oilers' zone after that, and the shots were close to even. So we're going to the second period with Columbus ahead 1-0. Early press by the Oilers. There's a power play for Columbus, however. Shorthanded 2-on-1. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is denied there. Shorthanded McLeod rush would end it. The Oilers press at 5.5 minutes. Goudreau was then denied on a rush. He was getting booed every time he touched the puck. Since he left Calgary, I would have thought he would have got cheered because he left the Flames in a lurch, and this is Edmonton. But hey, they're standing in solidarity with Calgary. Shots are 3 apiece at 7 minutes. The Jackets are blocking off the middle. Laine has a one-timer that's saved. The Oilers ice it, however, on a rush down the middle. So they've been blocking off the middle, but it doesn't take much. Derek Ryan gets a goal at 10:17. That was unassisted. Jackets press. The Oilers block and rush. Draisaitl has a rush chance that deflects wide. The Oilers get a power play. Draisaitl is robbed, and then they score. It's Hyman at 16-16 from McDavid, Nugent Hopkins. That is a power play goal. Makes it 2-1 for the Oilers. So good cycle and tipped in. The Oilers have the momentum with the lead, and after 2, it looks like they're going to win. So I thought about putting the records up here for the Oilers are going to win. I'll just update the records. I did not. Third period, early press by the Oilers. Nurse fans on one. The Jackets rush. There's a near miss for Sillinger from the slot. He can't buy a goal right now. Power play for Columbus. Marchenko had a blast that saved. That's killed off. I've mentioned I like this Marchenko kid, right? McDavid's denied the Oilers press. There's Columbus fans right now yelling at the screen. We told you. Marchenko would get a goal at 11:26. Good press. He gets the puck and he buries it. That's 11 goals for Marchenko. He has 0 assists. He doesn't need to pass no stinking puck. He can just shoot it. Jackets press with 7 minutes left. There was some momentum for the Oilers with 3 minutes left. They can't beat Korpisalo. Korpisalo had an excellent game. So we're going to overtime because that's what's happening in a lot of games. 3 out of 5 games tonight go to overtime. Oilers control early, but they turn it over. Gaudreau fires one high on a rush. McDavid then fired one wide on a rush right after that. Johnson has a chance that's held. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins fires one wide from the slot, and then Johnson puts one through Skinner. Gets the goal. Gaudreau and Goodbranson with the assists at 2:29. So the Flames connection there on the assists. And Columbus wins this one 3-2 in overtime. They go to 15-30-3 with the win. They're still out of the playoff race. Oilers 27-18-4 with the overtime loss. But while the team's out of the playoff race, players are still playing for jobs. They're still playing for pride. They don't want to lose every game. So Columbus gets outshot through almost everything except overtime. The shots are 11-9 Edmonton in the first, 13-7 Edmonton in the second, 12-8 Edmonton in the third. Columbus had all 3 shots in the overtime. Final shots 36-27 Oilers. Power plays Columbus 0 for 2. Edmonton scored on the only power play they had. Hits 32-19 Columbus. Korpisalo saves 34 out of 36. Great night for him. Skinner saves 24 out of 27. One thing with Korpisalo, I did the video today about tandems. Korpisalo's numbers are very good. Whether you're looking at standard, you're looking at advanced stats, his numbers have been solid. They're only going to come up with this start tonight as well. All right, last up. Well, it's the No Mercy Magnet. Seattle came out on a mission, and the funny thing is, the announcers kept saying, and I mean, it's Vancouver announcers kept saying they came out with a plan. Right, yeah, they're composed. They're not Chicago. Last night after the win over Chicago, my Lord, I heard so much about structure, and oh, look at this team, and they played so well, and it's like, I kept looking at these posts and going, it's Chicago. It's the Hawks. They're one of the lowest ranked teams in the league. Yeah, they hardly got any scoring chances because they're Chicago. And so Seattle, a good test, right? So I felt tonight was a much better litmus test to see, are the Canucks reborn and they're different? The answer is no. It was Martin versus Jones, which is awkward because Jones's first name is Martin, but we'll power through it. Early press by the Canucks. Tanev has a shot that's blocked as the Kraken press. The next Tanev chance goes wide. The Canucks are pinned down and they ice it. The shots are 4-1 for Seattle at 6 minutes, and eventually they score. And it was on another press. Bjorkstrand from Larson and Dunn at 7:57. Seattle picking off passes. Vancouver could not complete those cross-ice passes. Kraken get a power play, and they score on it. It is Wenberg from Eberle and McCann at 9:46. Buries it in close. This is where Tocchet calls a timeout. And I don't think it had the desired effect. I think tonight showed Tocchet how much work there is to do with this team. Because I've heard all of these things about, well, Bruce didn't have a structure, and yeah, Boudreau's team didn't have a structure. I don't think it's on Bruce. I think he tried, and I don't think the Canucks were taking that direction. I really don't put that on Bruce. But anyways, that being said, Miller has a turnover chance that's held. Larson has a shot that's saved on a 3-on-2. The Canucks draw a power play. That becomes 45 seconds of 4-on-4. McCann fires one wide. Everything's killed off there. So we go to the second period to score 2-0 Seattle. Power play number 3 for the Kraken, and it's power play goal number 2. It's McCann, former Canuck, from Eberle and Burakovsky at 5:55. Good cycle. Fires that one home. Shen versus Alexiak on the next faceoff. Again, trying to fire up your team. I admire Shen for having the courage to fight Alexiak. He's a big guy. Tolvanen then scores at 7:50 from Gord, and Dunn, he buries that one from the slot. So in the event that they hadn't already called a timeout, I think that's where Vancouver would have called a timeout, but they'd already used it. Shots are 7-4 for Seattle with 8.5 minutes left. Beniers is denied and close. Bjorkstrand has a rush chance that's saved. Bjorkstrand then scores from Larson and Gord at 16-15. And if you can't read this, I wrote underneath, what is defense? Because it wasn't apparent on that play. There's a lot of white jerseys standing around with their sticks up. Keep your stick on the ice. Get in the lane. Like, this is simple hockey 101. It's not happening. But at 1952, Garland ruins the shutout. He scores from Lazar and Joshua. Not only that, but it's kind of a prick move because it looked like it was Lazar's goal, and then they gave it to Garland. Lazar hasn't scored in 35 games, but at least he gets a point. And it was a result of a good press by the Canucks. Makes it 5-1 after 2. Can they score 5 in the third? Not likely. Third period, Canucks are line juggling. There's no Beniers. Beniers took a hit from Tyler Myers in the second period, which I read some Seattle fans online, not big fans of that hit from Myers. Keep in mind that if he gets suspended, yeah, I mean, that happens. The Canucks defense has not been good this year, so if Myers is out, oh no. So at any rate, it's one of those things. Like, they're so far out of it that, and again, I'm not trying to belittle what happened with Beniers. That was a scary hit, and his head bounced off the ice. So if the NHL decides to throw the book at Myers, we've been here with Myers before, and I was really surprised he didn't get suspended the last time. That was a couple years ago, though. But anyways, Donato has a rush chance that's defended. Mikheyev has a shot that's caught and held, and then Donato makes it 6-1. Yep, he scores from McCann at 2:36, so there's Jared McCann with another point against his former team. Tanev then wanted to get into it with Garland, and he gets Dakota Joshua instead, so there's a bit of a scrum going on. The Canucks come out of that with a power play. And if you're wondering how, me too. But that's killed off because the Canucks power play was not good tonight. Kraken press at 8.5 minutes. Long shift for the Canucks there. That most of them were on the ice for almost 3 minutes, but they do manage to survive that. With 6:43 left, the Canucks get a 4-minute power play. There was a shorthanded rush chance by Larson. That's tipped wide. Seattle shot blocking up by 5. Like, McCann takes a wicked shot, and he's limping off. And all I could think was, these guys are up by 5 goals. They're not going to lose. They're still dropping to block shots. They're still getting in the lane. It's work ethic. It's ridiculous. Seattle's taken that game they were playing on the road. They're now playing it at home. This is great news for Seattle fans. So they do kill that off. Just 2 shots. 4-minute power play, just 2 shots. Canucks go back to the power play. That one's killed off and had no shots. And that'll round out the game. Your final score is 6-1 for Seattle. They go to 28-14-5. They win the first game against Vancouver in their history. This was their 7th try. They finally get that win. Vancouver 19-26-3 with the loss. The shots in this one, 18-6 Seattle in the first, 12-7 Seattle in the second, 7-5 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 35-20 for Seattle. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 5. Seattle 2 for 3. The hits were 20-8 for Vancouver. Martin saves 29 out of 35. I did see Canuck fans who like, if we had a goalie. I'm not going to say Martin's a great goaltender, but I don't think Hasek could have got the win tonight. Martin Jones saves 19 out of 20. Good game by Jones. He's very up and down. Right now he's on the up. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.